Good afternoon. Thank you. Millie T is my twin sister. If y'all didn't know that already, now you do. So I went fishing today. No fish. My trout pole's still in the car though, so. I got a couple minutes. Let other people come in. My phone is going off. It was nice this morning. Be out there at the lake, in the river. Anyway, my name is Sandra and I'm an alcoholic. It's Tuesday, AA Day. Alright, so. Let's see. My glasses are blinding me. I have to hold them up. Anyway. Oh. Please be mindful in the chat. Don't be judging each other. Don't go to other people's channels and harass them, please. Please. They're here for a reason, and whatever that reason is, it's what these meetings are for. So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Trying these out today with some new stuff that might help keep them in. But, yeah. Anyway. 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our own. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. Make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening of As a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. It's even harder to talk with the men. Tradition 1. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on AA unity. 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3. The only requirement for AA membership is the desire to stop drinking. 4. Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5. Each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to alcoholics who still suffer. 6. An AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprises. This problem of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7. Every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8. Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service center may employ special workers. 9. AA as such ought never be organized but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those we serve. They serve. 10. Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. And 12. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. I do put in the description what book we're reading and the story or separate tradition we're reading and the page. So it should be in the description. Tradition 5. Each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. Shoemakers stick to die last. Better do one thing supremely well than many badly. That is the central theme of this tradition. Around it, our society gathers in unity. The very life of our fellowship requires the preservation of this principle. Alcoholics Anonymous can be likened to a group of physicians who might find cure for cancer, and upon whose concerted work would depend the answer for sufferers of this disease. True, each physician in such a group might have his own specialty. Every doctor concerned would at times wish he could devote himself to his chosen field rather than work only with the group. But once these men had hit upon a cure, Once it became apparent that only by their united effort could this be accomplished, then all of them would feel bound to devote themselves solely to the relief of cancer. In the radiance of such a miraculous discovery, any doctor would set his other ambitions aside and whatever personal cost. Just as firmly bound by obligation are the members of Alcoholics Anonymous who have demonstrated that they can help problem drinkers as often or as others seldom can. The unique ability of each AA to identify himself with and bring recovery to the newcomer in the way depends upon his learning eloquence or on any special individual skills. The only thing that matters is that he is an alcoholic who has found a key to sobriety. These legacies of suffering and of recovery are easily passed among alcoholics. One to the other, like us, is the one aim that today animates AA all around the globe. There is another reason for this singleness of purpose. It is the great paradox of AA that we know we can seldom keep the precious gift of sobriety unless we give it away. If a group of doctors possessed a cancer cure, they might be conscience-stricken if they failed their mission through self-seeking. Yet such a failure wouldn't jeopardize their personal survival. For us, if we neglect those who are still sick, there is unremitting danger to our own lives and sanity. Under these compulsions of self-preservation duty and love, it is not strange that our society has concluded that it has but one high mission: to carry the AA message to those who don't know there's a way out. Highlighting the wisdom of AA's single purpose, a member tells this story. Restless one day, I felt I better do some 12-step work. Maybe I should take out some insurance against a slip. But first, I'd have to find a drug to work on. So I hopped the subway to town hospital, where I asked Dr. Silkworth if he had a prospect. Nothing too promising, the little doc said. There's just one chap on the third floor who might be a possibility, but he's an awfully tough Irishman. I never saw a man so obstinate. He shouts that if his partner would treat him better and his wife would leave him alone, he'd soon solve his alcohol problem. He's had a bad case of DTs. He's pretty foggy, and he's very suspicious of everybody. Doesn't sound too good, does it? But working with him may do something for you, so why don't you have a go at it? I was soon sitting beside a big hunk of a man, decidedly unfriendly. He stared at me out of eyes which were slits in his red and swollen face. I had to agree with the doctor. He certainly didn't look good, but I told him my own story. I explained what a wonderful fellowship we had, how well we understood each other. I bore down hard on the hopelessness of the drunk's dilemma. I insisted that few drunks could ever get well on their own steam, I mean. But that in our group we could do together what we could not do separately. He interrupted to scoff at this and asserted he fixed his wife, his partner, and his alcoholism by himself. Sarcastically, he asked, "How much does your scheme cost?" I was thankful I could tell him nothing at all. His next question, "What are you getting out of it?" Of course, my answer was my own sobriety and a mighty happy life. Hi, Tony. I went by your house this morning. Sorry I didn't stop. Still dubious, he demanded, "Do you really mean the only reason you are here is to try and help me and to help yourself?" "Yes," I said. "That's absolutely all there is to it. There's no angle." Then, hesitantly, I I ventured to talk about the spiritual side of our program. What a freeze that drunk gave me. I'd no sooner got the word spiritual out of my mouth than he pounced. "Oh," he said, "now I get it. You're pro. I don't know what that word is. Y'all can guess. You're pro religion, in other words. Where do you get that no angel stuff?" "I belong to a great church that means everything to me. You've got a nerve to come in here talking religion." Thank heaven I came up with the right answer for that one. It was based foursquare on the single purpose of AA. "You have faith," I said. "Perhaps far deeper faith than mine. No doubt you're better taught in religious matters than I. So I can't tell you anything about religion. I don't even want to try. I'll bet too many that you could give me a letter perfect definition of humility. But from what you've told me about yourself and your problems and how you propose to lick them, I think I know what's wrong." Think, sorry, wrong spot. "Okay," he said, "give me the business." "Well," said I I think you're just a conceited Irishman who thinks he can run the whole show. This really rocked him, but as he calmed down, he began to listen while I tried to show him that humility was the main key of sobriety. Finally, he saw that I wasn't attempting to change his religious views, and I wanted him to find the grace in his own religion that would aid his recovery. From there on, we got along. Now concludes the old timer. Suppose I'd been obliged to talk to this man on religious grounds. Suppose my answer had to be that AA needed a lot of money. That AA went in for education, hospitals, and rehabilitation. Suppose I suggested that I'd take a hand in his domestic and business affairs. Where would we have wound up? No place, of course. Years later, this tough Irishman customer liked to say, my sponsor sold me one idea, and that was sobriety. At the time, I couldn't have bought anything else. Sometimes, what this is meaning is you get those newcomers that we don't know what their way of life is, if they're religious or whatever. That's not up to us to ask, but it is up to us to try and figure it out on our own without, causing an issue. Like when I was a newcomer and started going to AA, nobody knew anything about my past, my present, my future, nothing. Nobody knew anything about me. And that's the scary part for the newcomer, is you don't know if they're feeding you a bunch of bull. And I can tell you, for me, I believe that they were. For my first couple of meetings, I didn't know what to think about any of it. And it took me a while to actually stay for a whole meeting. Because when I first started going to AA, I'd already been sober for a while by myself. And I started AA because a friend suggested it to me, and that friend was going to meet me there. So that's how my AA journey started, and I thank that friend every single day of the rest of my life for telling me to go to AA, that it could help. Because it did help. It helped me become who I am today. It helped me help others. It's helping me help others today and every day. Whether, it's just giving somebody a smile and being courteous and helping them with something, or I don't play guessing games on anybody of being an alcoholic or anything. I just start the conversation with I'm a recovering alcoholic and I will be for the rest of my life. And that's where I get my sponsees, and I catch people when I say I'm a recovering alcoholic. They're like, are you real? For real? A recovering alcoholic? Yes, I am. Surprise, surprise. But I've been sober for 10 years. coming up November 15th. I will be 11, and I thank God every day. I thank AA. I thank my sponsor. I thank my friends and my family for always being there, my sponsees, and it's because I found AA, because of that friend, why I'm sitting here doing meetings and trying to reach other people who can't get out and go to a meeting, including my sponsor. She can't get out and go to a meeting all the time either. So, but she has also been there since about 4 months, 3 or 4 months. I quit in November. I met her in April. March or April of the same year, or the following year. But I am thankful to all of AA, even though I sometimes, especially when I first quit drinking, I was like, I don't think this is going to work. And I was still in that pink cloud phase of my alcoholism and being sober and not knowing how to work the program. And I know how to work it now. And it helps every single day without fail. It's helped me to quit smoking. It helped me to realize I need to set goals for myself and that I can achieve it. I achieve sobriety every single day, and I don't get too far ahead of myself because things change. So I can't say I'm going to be sober forever. And I plan to be, but I can't promise that because I'm not in the future. I'm in the present. Yeah, I think it was April because I started working up there upriver in April. The middle or the end of April, I want to say, is when we moved up there. I think so, yeah. I think it was April when I first went to my first meeting. And that's where it started. But without having the rooms of the AA meetings, and I've been to more than just my home group. I've been to a convention here in Oregon, and that was out of my comfort zone because there was so many people there, and I was just like, holy moly. But thanks to my sponsor, my first sponsor, and then my second sponsor, to have to throw Judy in there too. Learning to use my voice was a big, big part of my sobriety. My sponsor didn't even talk to me. I'm throwing you under the bus. She signed me up to do a speaker meeting. And that wasn't very long after I started AA, but I did it. And so from there, I just learned that I have something to be grateful for and I need to tell other people about it. And I'm living proof that you can achieve sobriety and stay sober, and every day is worth it. It's very much worth it. I'm glad to be sober. I'm glad for another day to share my journey with others and help the next person, and um, let people know that there is help. And not everybody knows that, especially if they're still in the drink. It's hard to reach out when you're in the drinking stage of your alcoholism, and you're hitting your bottom. Um, I hit bottom twice. Um, the first time I hit bottom, I cracked my eye open. I don't know on what. It's guessed that it was stove, because I moved the stove with my face. What can I say? That's what tequila did. And I was by myself. So from there, I got sober, and I was sober for a year, and I didn't do AA or anything. And then, I was like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and take a drink. Big mistake. Big, big, big mistake. Because out I went again, and no, I didn't start all over on the drinking. I didn't start with just one. No. Couldn't be that easy. No. Right back to the bottom. And I was there for another year or two. But I got sober November 15th of 2014, and I don't plan to go back out and drink. I'm not planning, but I don't plan a lot of things very far in advance anymore. Because life changes, things change, and you just gotta go with it. Live life on life's terms and not your own. I do still have those bad days, and I do speak to my sponsor. I just went out and saw her a few days ago. I think it was last Monday. Monday. I think it was Monday. Anyway, after doctor's appointment. But I'm just thankful to be sober. I'm thankful for AA and my sponsors and my sponsees and my friends and my family and everybody that is on this sobriety with me, rooting me on. And if you're a newcomer, just know that you're not alone. And we all do still remember how we ended up in this predicament. Um, Reaching out for AA and getting the help that we need. We all still remember. Our stories are similar. They're not the same, but they have a lot of the same things. And um, just know that there's help out there, and you can get sober. I always say, if you want sobriety, if you want to get sober, do it for you, not for anybody else. Because once you realize you're doing it for yourself, it makes everything else fall into place how it should be. And I'm thankful for everybody, and I'm blessed to have everybody in my sobriety and my day-to-day meditations and all the things that help me get through my days. And anyways, I'm just babbling, so I'm going to say the serenity prayer and let you guys have the rest of your day. I went fishing this morning and caught nothing. Like normal. Oh well, I got to go for great walk. So, and a bunch of steps. Anyways, I'll let you guys have the rest of your day. Remember, stay sober. Hope the next one. And if you're a newcomer, you came to the right place. And if you're worried about being online, there are AA meetings everywhere. Just Google it, and it can point you to a meeting. So, anyway, I love you guys. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Love you guys.